had a viewer ask me to do a video on organizing photos. And the specific question was paper photos and digital photos. I'm gonna back off on the digital photos because I am an organizer. I've been doing this for 20 years. I have worked with a lot of people on paper photos. Digital photos are sort of a different animal. There's good practices, there's better things to do. If you need that help, drop a note in the comments. I can hook you up with somebody. But I'm gonna stick with my expertise. I'm Margaret, and I love helping people. So with old photos, and of course I'm giving this just generically, I don't know your particular story, but in general, this is what works for people. I like to go through and do a purge. And what I'm doing is I'm trying to sort of curate the collection, not keep every single picture. It's too much. Nobody wants to look at all of that necessarily. And I'm talking to those of you who have boxes and bins of these things. So go through and get rid of anything that is damaged. So that could be ripped. Sometimes they get wet, they bleed and blur, get rid of them. Get rid of things that are they were bad pictures to begin with. They're blurry, dark, not very attractive to look at. Get rid of duplicates. And that could be throwing them in the trash. You're allowed to do that. It could be that it's a perfectly fine picture, but it's a duplicate and maybe there's somebody in the family that wants that. It's obviously okay to give it to them. Now you've started thinning down things just a little bit. Now go back through and, depends how you feel about this, but I think most people are very happy when they do this. I would get rid of most of the pictures, if not all of them, that don't have people in them. So for instance, let's say you took a trip to Australia 20 years ago and you've got a picture looking out over the Great Barrier Reef. That's lovely, but that picture only really has sentiment and value to you. It doesn't to anybody else, because if they want to see a picture of the Great Barrier Reef, they can go online. There's a lot of ways they can get that. They don't need your picture. I would let go of those. Okay, now, we've kind of gotten rid of the noise, the extra. Let's think about what it is that we're trying to do. We're typically trying to tell a story with the pictures. This was a time, a place, a way that things were. If you keep everything, it's just a word with a lot of story, or a story with a lot of words. You want to be like a museum. You want to curate that and kind of get the story down. So if you've got something that's not in writing, we talk about progressing the story. So if your picture isn't progressing the story, you've got too many of the it's a different picture, but it's really the same kind of thing. 29 pictures of your kid eating an ice cream cone, you can let some of them go. I would place high value on pictures that have names and dates on the back, especially if they're older pictures. And then what I would do is I would start categorizing them. It's a lot easier to organize things when they're in categories. So there's kind of two scenarios. I guess I'm going to take the scenario where your family photos. What I do is I start trying to put things in sort of assuming you have a lot, a decade. These were the 1970s, everything's in a pile. 1980s, everything's in a pile. 90s, see what I'm doing there. Then you go back through and you look within each and you're not doing this all at one time. You have to do this over time. It's too time consuming. But take the 1970s, you're not looking at anything else. Look through one more time. Is there something that you can let go of? Then start putting them in a very rough year order. 71, 72, 73. It's okay if you're a little wrong, but what you're doing is you're getting that storytelling, that chronology right. Okay, now you've got that, and what I like to do is I like to put them in a shoebox or something, and then put I typically cut up colored paper, envelope or something, and just put it as a divider between the years. Okay, so you don't ever have to think about what was 1971 again. Do that with the 80s, so on and so forth. Now, decide what you're going to do. Are you trying to just sort of make one set of photo albums? Are you trying to give some to the kids? How do you want to divide things up? Figure out how many albums you want. I will say that honestly, 6 albums is kind of pushing what anybody really ever wants to go through again. I mean, like, it's seriously pushing it. If you can get things kind of down into the 3 to 4 album range, you've got a shot of people actually picking those up and looking at them from time to time. So be picky, be a little bit brutal. Think about it this way. The trade-off is you will so much more enjoy what you kept. It will override the kind of that pain of what you got rid of. As far as getting rid of, and then I'm going to stop this video. If you have questions, go ahead and hit me up, drop a note in the comments. I'd love to help you. But what do you do to get rid of them? Well, like I said, you're allowed to throw them away. You are not a bad person. It's okay. If you have a way to make them available to family members, so much the better. A good way to do that is if you have any kind of a family gathering. It could be a family reunion, maybe you're all in the same town and you can invite people to your house. Just put the pictures that you're giving away out on tables and let people go through them. I will say that usually when you make an offer like, I've got pictures of blank, you might have some takers, but there's a lot of cricket. When people can actually see and touch and kind of have that camaraderie of looking through the pictures, they'll take a lot more. So try to do that if you can. I think that's all I'm going to put in this video. Like I said, if you want more information, more ideas, you've tried something that's worked well for you, share it with me. Thanks.